Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Senator Welch.
Thank you all for being here. What a wonderful mom you are.
Thank you, sir.
And grandmother, too. It's amazing how you find it deep in you to be able to be so supportive of your daughter and your grandchild. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It took a lot of strength and courage to be here.
It did. And you've got a lot of strength and a lot of courage. So thank you. And I just can only imagine what it means to your daughter to know the care you're taking for her and her child. So good for you. Doctor, I'm wondering if you could just, you probably were asked this already, so don't repeat necessarily, but what are the specific things that should be done to care for women giving birth while incarcerated that should be part of the routine, and then address some of the resistance that is put in the way of treating folks who are going to be delivering the right way?
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator, for your question. The services and care that should be provided to incarcerated pregnant women should be equivalent to the community standards of care. There are well-established guidelines, evidence-based practices that I've been practicing for decades when it comes to caring for pregnant women, whether they're in the community or incarcerated. And incarcerated pregnant women should be cared for by those same exact medical standards. But on top of that, which includes things like routine prenatal visits, ultrasounds, laboratory tests, according to established guidelines, on top of that, women who are incarcerated and pregnant need additional support, additional mental health support for the trauma they're enduring, whether or not they have pre-existing mental health conditions, because as you have heard today, and as we know this represents so many more women, the conditions, even under the best of circumstances, which are few and far between, are still inherently traumatic. And so additional supports are needed. Some examples of those include, and we heard from Senator Booker earlier a little bit about this, providing doula support for incarcerated pregnant women during their pregnancy, during childbirth in the hospital, and afterwards. While they're in the hospital undergoing childbirth, incarcerated women should be treated with the same dignity and respect as any woman who is giving birth. She should not, under any circumstances, have to give birth in chains. This is the marker of a barbaric society, a barbaric practice that should not happen. It is medically unsafe for the mother and for the baby, and it is an affront to their dignity as well.
Thank you. By the way, we're talking about giving birth, pregnancy, but the medical standard, shouldn't that apply across the board to the medical needs of folks who are incarcerated?
Absolutely. Medical standards of care that would apply to non-incarcerated women absolutely apply to incarcerated women as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ms. Zumberger, I missed your testimony, but you've gone through this. So maybe just for my benefit, describe a little bit more what you went through and what you'd recommend.
Well, giving birth, the whole process of giving birth in prison was traumatizing. Having only 2 short hours to hold and look at my newborn before not seeing her for a few years later, that was tough. I was put in solitary confinement because I was worried about getting MRSA from a woman that they had initially put me in the room with. I just asked for cleaning supplies, and next thing I know, I was in solitary. That experience in itself was tough. There's no access to medical care. You are the last person to get any food on the whole entire compound. So by the time it gets to you, it's hard as a brick, or it's really, really cold. It's not well. It's not good. And then, having my children in foster care and me getting out and having the mission to find a home, and that search was difficult as well. I had to buy a house 9 months post incarceration. So, but yeah, I'm still healing. It's been my daughter will be 6, and I'm still healing.
Yeah,
You
thank
know?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that. I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Welch. And Ms. Umberger, you testified it feels like your kids